The past year has been a groundbreaking moment for the Philippine Air Force. Riding on the momentum of our achievements, your Air Force of today is even more ready to conquer new heights. And as we welcome our 71st year, we are determined to boldly face and surpass the challenges that will come along our way for the months to come.
On our 71st year anniversary, the Philippine Air Force rises aggressively with the changing times, constantly evolving, reshaping, and restructuring itself with the acquisition of new aircraft, upgrading equipment, harnessing the Filipinos' natural talents, resilience in the face of adversity, and innate oneness with the sky. The Philippine Air Force has earned its credibility and is gaining new strength and is ready to steer through turbulent skies when it is called upon, and we will prevail.
The recent fighting in Marawi wrought damage to the Islamic city. Dubbed as the game changers of the Marawi conflict, the role of the Philippine Air Force was highlighted in a variety of missions, from close air support, air strike, evacuation of our fallen heroes and the wounded, transport of essential supplies and troops to the battlefield, logistical support, humanitarian assistance to affected civilian population, and various tactical and strategic airlift operations.
With compassion and empathy towards the sufferings of our countrymen, the Philippine Air Force has been active in bayanihan efforts in order to help alleviate the pains of those affected by the war. The 355th Aviation Engineering Wing and the 710th Special Operations Wing have been performing intensified clearing operations as part of the rehabilitation process in Marawi. After the utilization of the capabilities of the FA-50 aircraft during the Marawi crisis, the PAF is enhancing the systems and capabilities that would support such operations based on the lessons and best practices derived from the Marawi experience in order to facilitate the rapid conclusion of hostilities with minimal or no government casualties and collateral damage.
The Philippine Air Force conducts humanitarian assistance and disaster response in order to address man-made or natural disasters through the conduct of evacuation before or during a disaster, search, rescue and recovery missions, damage assessment and needs analysis, and relief operations. The recent and most critical Philippine Air Force humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations include the Marawi crisis, typhoons Pablo and Vinta, and Mayon volcano eruption.
The Philippine Air Force regularly conducts maritime patrols in different areas in support of the requirements of the Armed Forces of the Philippines Unified Commands. Covering the period of the anniversary year, the Philippine Air Force had conducted 92 maritime patrol missions in different areas, including West Philippine Sea, Bajo de Masinloc, and Philippine Rise. The Philippine Air Force is in the process of developing suitable capabilities for this purpose, to provide a more effective and efficient means to transmit real-time or near real-time information for decision makers.
The procurement of the CESSNA 208 Bravo Grand Caravan and the unmanned aerial vehicle Scan Eagle, the Philippine Air Force enhanced its ISR to support various Philippine Air Force, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and civilian agency operations. Aside from the ISR to support the AFP combat operations, the Philippine Air Force has provided ISR capabilities for the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, With the introduction of more effective ISR platforms, the Philippine Air Force now explores other ISR capabilities that may support other peace and national development initiatives of the government.
As an evolving force of the 21st century, the Philippine Air Force ensures the maritime and airspace security of our country through cooperation with government institutions and different civilian agencies, notable of which is the One Sky Picture program. Under this program, the PAF collaborated with the Department of Transportation and Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines to integrate a monitoring system for military and civilian air traffic. It's a system that will integrate the data from PAF air defense surveillance radars and the process data from the Communications Navigation Surveillance Air Traffic Management System of CAAL to obtain a common air operational picture covering the entire Philippines, which is integral to territorial defense and airspace security. The Philippine Air Force conducts regular exchange visits and undertakes exchange student programs with different partner air forces that includes United States, United Kingdom, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Cambodia, Japan, South Korea, and Australia. Military diplomacy is also attained through the multilateral engagements involving the Philippine Air Force and other partner nations. The Philippine Air Force supports different engagements in the areas of intelligence, exercises, and conventions to facilitate exchange of information, strengthen cooperation with partner air forces, and support our capability development efforts through learning.
The command realizes the importance of a strong and credible Air Force in order to respond to the needs and challenges of a constantly changing global and regional landscape. The security challenges in the Asian region is one of great importance. As a developing nation, the Philippine Air Force constantly grow with the times through the acquisition of modern assets and capability training and development of its personnel and manpower. For the Philippine Air Force to succeed in its mission to organize, train, equip, and maintain forces in the conduct of prompt and sustained air operations in support to the Armed Forces of the Philippines mandate, improvements have been made to the Philippine Air Force force-level command and control, training, and support systems. Reservists as force-level expansion. Training new recruits to increase force level. Top senior leaders hold quarterly command conferences as part of the development of the Philippine Air Force organization.
In line with the revised Armed Forces of the Philippines Modernization Program, the Philippine Air Force has geared to upgrade its air defense capabilities, primarily designed to protect our national territory and maritime interests. The Philippine Air Force has added to its inventory
12 FA-50s, 3 air defense surveillance radars, 2 CESSNA 208 Bravo ISR aircraft, 6 Scan Eagle unmanned aerial vehicle, and 2 NC-212I light fixed-wing aircraft. With the expected arrival of multiple defense acquisitions and air assets, it has been mandatory for the command to preserve, improve, and build more infrastructures to cater to the growing needs of the Air Force through innovative leadership and unending support of the command, as well as our stakeholders from the national government. The realization and timely completion of these projects were made possible. With the command's thrust of steadfast blue team at top speed for peace and resilient development, the Philippine Air Force full potential will absolutely come into realization in no time.
More than being the guardian of our precious skies, the Air Force has become a shining beacon in times of grief, giver of hope in period of despair, and vessel of grace in moments of victory.
As the Philippine Air Force grow even more stronger in our 71st year, its airmen and airwomen shall replicate their best practices and continue to soar high with greater fervor to render service to our country and countrymen.
We are the Philippine Air Force,
guarding our precious skies, keeping our nation free.
Ako ang panlaw sa gitna ng dilim. Ako ang mata sa sahig mapawid.